Bo Nix. I see Bo Nix. I see a Drew Brees, but a little more mobile. At Auburn, he was really just like kind of like running around trying to make plays out of nothing, and at times would get himself in a lot of trouble. But once he transferred to Oregon, he really settled into his game and became more of a pocket presence. Would use his legs when necessary, but the pinpoint accuracy is what jumps out at me. He was one of the most accurate quarterbacks in all college football when you watch him, and the guy just did not make a lot of mistakes. When I think of that kind of precision and accuracy, my first thought was Drew Brees. Drew Brees was never that mobile of a quarterback, so I think that's what's different with Bo Nix. But that was the first thing I thought of when I thought of him. Michael Penix Jr. A lot of at first there were some question marks about his health because of his injury history coming from Indiana, moving over to Washington. He has overcame that in so many ways, and I think that from what I'm hearing, those medical red flags we were all thinking about are basically no more. So we hope that he's successful wherever he goes. I think if he never had those injuries, he could be discussed as, is he a top 10 or top 5 pick? When I watch Michael Penix, guy's got a rocket for an arm. As a lefty, I see a Geno Smith from back when he was lighting it up with West Virginia. I see Geno Smith, and I see Tua, but taller. And I think that will bode well for him because the way that he throws the football, he's not very mobile. Although he can take off if he needs to, he's not the most mobile quarterback out of this group. Even if he's going to be a solid backup for you for the next few years before you turn the keys over to him, I think that's a really good value pick, and he could be a surprise gem. I feel like in this draft, I see JJ McCarthy, and the first thing I think of is Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, Jimmy Garoppolo, as a comparison, is not an insult to JJ McCarthy. I think a lot of people are misconstruing that. Jimmy Garoppolo took the 49ers to the Super Bowl. Now, granted, the 49ers, as we know them right now, we're loaded. Great defense, a lot of weapons on offense. Hey, Jimmy Garoppolo just did his job. Get the ball to his playmakers. Kind of like what Brock Purdy is doing right now for the 49ers. But JJ McCarthy, like Jimmy Garoppolo, looks the part. Again, he makes the throws that are necessary when it's time. If you watch the playoff games with Michigan against Alabama, against Washington, there were times where J.J. McCarthy had to make a play, and he did exactly what was needed to be done. There was no high volume games where he was throwing the ball 20 times, 30 times, 40 times. That's not how the offense was set up. But it doesn't mean that J.J. McCarthy can't play. He's a very good. I think he's very good. I think any team that grabs him may get a surprise. Out to Drake May. He's one of the more interesting prospects because he's a real like wild card in my opinion. You see the ability, you see the big arm that he has. I see Josh Allen. I see a little bit of Jared Goff. That kind of mixture right there. Josh Allen, I see that from a physical standpoint. He's got a lot of power. But where he is the thing about him that I keep hearing is his footwork is a little off. His mechanics at times are a little off. The accuracy sometimes isn't there when you're throwing deep downfield. Those are things you can teach. But the raw ability and the raw talent that he already possesses, that's something that's hard to pass up. And we saw that with Josh Allen when he first got drafted because the same things were being talked about with him. He's a big strong kid. He's got a big rocket for an arm, but he struggled a little bit with accuracy and his mechanics. Again, good coaching that's turned him into the Josh Allen that we know today. So I see a lot of that in Drake May, and I think landing with the right situation will be key for him and who's coaching him. Two, we have the Heisman Trophy winner, Jaden Daniels out of LSU. And you watch him play, I can't escape it that's Lamar Jackson. I mean, his speed is ridiculous. You just watch him running away from DBs and corners trying to catch him when he gets in the open field. He's just faster than everybody else. He's Lamar Jackson, but a much better deep ball passer than Lamar was at that point in time. The one thing with Lamar that he still is getting better at is the accuracy going deep down the field. Jaden Daniels already has that. So imagine having Lamar Jackson's speed and his ability, but also a really good down the field passer already. You got a potential bona fide superstar in your hands in the next couple of years. And he has the ability to take the likes of, we've heard a lot about the Raiders trading up to get him. We hear about DC and what they're going to do. Whatever team gets Jaden Daniels, you will be getting better. You have a week one start, in my opinion. I watch Caleb Williams. I see he's an elite playmaker. He is very good at making things out of nothing, even when he doesn't have to, which leads me to the concern with Caleb is that he tries to make spectacular plays and escape the pocket when there's times where he really doesn't have to. And sometimes that's gotten him into trouble. It's led to turnovers. It's led to bad throws at times. But you live with it because he's so good when he's on point and making good throws. So when I look at it, again, it's hard for me to do that, but I do see the two players that I mentioned. I see a combination of Kyler Murray and Patrick Mahomes. He's able to throw it on the angle just as well as we saw Mahomes do it when he first got started. And then the scrambling ability, we see Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray will run around in a complete circles at times to get out of a sack and get out of the pocket and still make a good ball going downfield.